Yes, we can, sure we can change the world.
Welcome, young African leaders. This is the YALI Voices Podcast, a place to share some of the best stories from the Young African Leaders Initiative Network. My name is Todd Haskell, and I'm so glad you joined us today. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast and visit yali.state.gov to stay up to date on all things YALI. Today, I'm going to have a conversation with Amalkher Djibrine. Amalkher is an inspiring young leader and an education advocate from Chad, and we talked about her experience and the Mandela Washington Fellowship and how it has influenced her life. She's never one to back down from a fight, and Amalkher has worked tirelessly to promote gender equality for women and advancement through education. So let's jump right into my interview with Amalkher Djibrine. Well, good morning, Djibrine. It's really a pleasure to be here with you this morning. We're just thrilled that you've been able to come back to the United States. I can tell you that I began working on the Mandela Washington Fellowship 3 years ago, and the last 3 years, I would say a large part of my life has been dedicated to working on this program. I remember the early meetings and what we envisaged about the program, and it's so terrific to see the fellows like you who are already making a difference in your countries and to see the fruits of this program come forward. I know that you participated in the 2015 Mandela Washington Fellowship. You were here and you went back to Chad last summer. Can you tell me a little bit about how the program has had an impact on you and the work that you've been doing in Chad?
Okay, thank you very much. It's really a pleasure being here with you too. I've been, of course, a fellow from last year, and I went through a lot of opportunities like networking and having people who are doing the same thing, all that. So when I went back, I think the program had a lot of impact on me, first of all, regarding the networking, because, you have a huge number of people like the same age as you and doing great things in different countries, and you can chat, you can exchange about what you're doing.
You mean networking with the other fellows in the other countries? Yeah,
networking with the other fellows. I think it's like a unique opportunity that you cannot find anyway in other ways. So what I'm doing in Chad exactly is I'm working in youth and women empowerment organization called Nirvana. And I'm also representing the Women International League for Peace and Freedom, like a 100 years old organization. Mm-hmm. And the impact that the program had on me is if you want to make a change, you don't have to keep speaking about this change. You have to take an action, and maybe people can follow you, because in the world we have followers and we have people who take initiative and bring other people on the group. And the thing that I did before I came back here is we have the National Council of Young People of Chad, mm-hmm. and this council is the most important thing representing the whole young people of Chad. But the problem is the leadership is so bad that the last 3 years we didn't see anything coming out of this organization. And I tried to approach them and tell them that they have to call all of us, National Assembly, and to tell us what they did the last 3 years, because nothing is coming out as far as we are concerned. And we had some problems because they know what they did and they don't want to come out and expose themselves. Later, I decided to have meeting with young people who are sharing the same idea as I do. And every day we have more people coming to our group, like the people who are not okay with the leadership of the National Council. Mm-hmm. And then we called them, they came, and we asked them, and the answers are not really interesting. So we said, we want you to resign because that's not a good team, and we need another team, because young people are not something easy in Chad, because we are more than 80% of the population. We don't have old people, sorry.
No offense taken.
So it's more than 80% of the population, and we have a lot of expectation that we cannot go through in this kind of leadership. And this problem went to the Ministry of Youth. The Ministry of Youth, first of all, didn't recognize our committee as complaining group. And then later on, the problem went to the Prime Minister and went to the presidency, and they called us in a meeting, and then they are okay with what we are saying, because the other group is not able to answer our questions. And they said, I think this group is right, and you have to go to the Congress, because they're asking for the Congress. Mm-hmm. And just before I came here, they are preparing for the Congress, for people to go through. And I think this is like a huge impact of like self-determination and self-confidence, because you cannot just go through something so risky if you are not self-confident about what you're doing.
And you used the term there, risky. Can you talk a little bit about kind of the obstacles and what the kind of risk that you took, you think, in doing this?
Yeah, the first risk is the team itself. Like the former team, the president of the team is a guy that I can call a little bit dangerous, because he's like moving around with the gun and just like intimidating people.
Sounds a little bit dangerous, yes.
It's very dangerous, not a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem that he had is like, the culture is also playing a big role in that. Because if it was a guy doing all that against him, he won't spare him. But it was a lady that he's like, I don't know what to do with this lady. Can you please help me move her out of the committee?
Do you think being a woman in this situation allowed you an advantage or allowed you a certain level of protection?
Yes, of course. I think if I were a guy, it's going to be completely different.
Mm-hmm.
And even the guy won't spare me, won't give me the chance to go that far, because he know what to do with me. Like, but because I'm a woman, the culture is like a man, they don't fight with women, they don't talk that much with women. And he's like, she's in the middle and I don't know what to do with her. And people took advantage of that. And the team is growing every day because they know we are going to the end of the fight. And today I can say it was a fantastic experience, because for the first time in Chad, we had more than 1,000 young people gathered in the same room for their own future. And that was like historical, right? And we had some media and newspapers and all that thing. And every day, people are talking about the same fight, like young people's fight of Chad. We are, okay, it's always the same. Where are you now? And people are calling and sending emails like, where are you now? I want to join. Where are you now? And I think we went really very fast and very sure of what we are doing, because we are right. And we did it. Like, it's not yet the end, but I think because the highest authority gave the instruction to the Ministry of Youth to bring us to the National Congress of Youth, I think that's a little bit like a success.
It's a great story. And what's your vision, you think, for the National Youth Council? What do you want to do with it when we get to the end and if you take over?
Okay. First of all, what we want to do is to have a very, very wonderful team. And what I mean by wonderful is like a team capable of taking into consideration all the complaining of young people, because we have a lot of problems like in employment. We have some young people go to drugs, things and all that. Because of that, our main leader in Chad is the National Youth Council. It's like a political position, but it represents the whole young people of country. And the voice of this organization is very well heard by the government. But the problem that we had is like the leader didn't consider the importance of the organization he's leading. And it's like other association, and it's fine. But if we had a good leader who is like every day reminding the government and all the stakeholders about the problem of young people and the solution that we can propose and what we really want, and as we know, these voices are heard, we can have like an output of all that. And the situation can a little bit it can change.
Without the experience of the Mandela Washington Fellowship, do you think you would have done all this?
I will maybe come back before the program. I've always been, I'm sorry, but a troublemaker. Like every time I'm like the first one who's complaining about something was going wrong within the community, within the young people and all that. So I think the program helped me a lot by giving me self-confidence and giving me an idea about the power and the energy of a team, and also an idea about one doesn't have to sit behind and talk about, we need change, we are poor, we don't have this, we don't have that, instead of going through the problem inside and try to make the smallest action that you can and other people can just follow what you're doing. So I think the program helped a lot by giving this confidence, self-confidence, and motivation to make positive impacts every time by the smallest action that you can bring.
No, that's good. But you say you were always a troublemaker. I know you grew up near Lake Chad, and later on you moved into the capital. Can you tell me a little bit about that and some of the trouble you made when you were a young person?
First of all, I will come the first year of my school. I had some elder sisters at home, and at that time it's not even easy to bring daughters like girls to French schools, because most of the parents bring their daughters to Arabic schools.
Okay.
That's a culture anyways.
To Arabic schools, not French
Arabic,
schools.
because we have 2 official languages. Yeah, it depends also on the religion, but that's how they do. But our mother, she's like, I'm going to bring my daughters to French school, because she saw the difference between like the outcome of the 2 languages later on the career and all that thing. So she brought my elder sister there, and every day they are going to school. I'm following them, and they are bringing me back at home, because like, you are too young to go to school every day. And later she said, I can't just go out every day and bring her back at home. I have to just let her go to school. And then she registered me to the school.
How old were you at that time?
I was too young, like 6 years old, but in Chad, they bring people at school at 7, 8, something like that. So I went to school the first year, and the surprise was I met some young girls that went to school last year, telling me that I am very lucky to be in the first grade. I'm like, why? They said, the teacher is always sleeping, so you have time to do whatever you want. And I was like, what do you mean? They're like, you go and see by yourself. So when I went to the class the first day, everyone is in the class, the teacher, he closed the door, and then he slept. Like, okay, that's really odd.
That's terrible.
And then everybody's playing like, wah, 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 wah. I'm like, okay, that's the first day. Let's see tomorrow. And then he did it for like 4 days. And this 5th day, I stayed at home. And the parents my father's like, why are you staying at home? You are the one who's always running to go to school. I'm like, there's no school. And when he asked me, I said, the teacher's always sleeping. And he said, you're kidding me. I said, that's the truth. So he went back to school, and he checked by himself. He went to the supervisors, and we did a big problem out of it. And the teacher was so angry on me that he's like beating me every day because of what I did. So every day they ask him to let the door open, and the supervisor are coming over all the time. So that's the beginning.
That's the first time you caused trouble.
Yeah, that's the first time, the class trouble. And then later on, in the secondary school, we have some clubs and some union of students. And I found out that in this union, we don't have girls involved in, and I'm like, why don't you involve girls? And I had some awareness to do to the girls, because girls are refusing to be part of the club. That's why. So I had to work hard for them to be within the club, because the club is the only one structure able to complain like the voices of all students. So it means that if we are not inside, our voices are not heard. So we have to be in it. And later, I had some problem with the guys, like, do you know how old are you? The guys, like, they're talking about my age, because my age is like, it's completely different than they are. And the ladies that I am pushing are also so older. And the guys are like, what are you doing? Do you know how old are you? I'm like, I know how old I am. That's why I'm not involving myself, but I'm pushing other people to get involved on it.
Through all of this, I mean, you're making a big splash, and you're doing things that I think young girls don't normally do in where you're from.
Yeah.
What did your parents think? Were they supportive? It sounds like your father was very supportive when you were complaining about the fact that the teacher was just sleeping.
Yeah.
Did your parents remain supportive of you?
Yeah, they did. I think the reason why I keep doing all that is because they believe that what I'm doing is right.
Right.
Because I'm always sharing what I'm doing at school and everywhere with them, like it's no secrets.
Mm-hmm.
When I found out that something is wrong, I'm also talking to them and then having their point of view about the problem before acting some of the times. But some of the time, the acting comes first, and then I will tell them about the problem. But they were always supportive to what I'm doing, and that's why I kept doing the same thing.
That's great.
Yeah.
And was it, as a girl doing this, as a woman doing this, being so active and doing that, did people ever say that wasn't the right role for a woman, not the right role for a girl? Did they suggest that you shouldn't be doing those kind of things? Not your parents, but your peers and your teachers and other people like that?
Not really teachers, but like the students
Mm-hmm.
in general. They think I am different.
I think you are.
And that I can also come back to my childhood, and that's the difference that they told me, because when I was very young, I don't know what I did, but the parents are always like, when people are running to play with dolls and all that thing, I'm not doing the same thing, and I don't know why. Like,
What were you doing?
They bring, I could be maybe reading some cartoons, like cartoon books,
Mm-hmm.
and all that. Trying, because the English that I am speaking today, I started learning from a very low age. When I started speaking English, there's not at all English in this city. But because I had the chance to go to the library and taking books every day, I was just negotiating with the library guy. He's like, when you go back to the capital city, can you please bring me some different books and all that? And he started bringing some books with different language. And he said, this is English. I'm like, okay, I will try the English, because there's no other BD books. I finished the cartoons. The whole library is finished. The guy is like, why you're coming every day? I'm like, but I finished this one. I don't know what to do with this one. I already finished it. I need another one.
Mm-hmm.
So I started learning English without even knowing the importance of this language. I didn't know English is spoken almost everywhere in the world. So my peers, they think I'm speaking an old language. They say, oh, she will start speaking something that you don't understand, but they don't even know English, right?
Wow.
We are very young to understand all that. So this difference is maybe in me since my childhood.
Wow. So this spirit was born within you well before you ever came on the Mandela Washington Fellowship. You had this urge to learn. You read all the books in the library. You moved on. And what was it like when you went on to N'Djamena and you began to become a teenager and a little bit older? I know you started a business.
Yeah. When we came to N'Djamena, and I went to high school, I can call it, I've also got involved in the school students association. As we are doing business school, in the class, like in the MBA classes, we don't see girls. And at the beginning, I really wanted to go to architecture, but there's no school for architecture in Chad. And they said, okay, if you want to go to architecture, let's prepare some papers for you and get a visa for you for France and all that thing. And when they counted the times, like, I will be losing 1 year. I'm like, I'm not going to lose this 1 year. Maybe I will think about that later. But I went for like accounting and business administration.
In Chad?
Yeah, in Chad. But the problem is the people that we have in the class, most of them are men, and they have already started doing some business, but we don't have girls. And the teacher is like, "Are you sure? Did you start any business?" I'm like, "Not yet. I don't have any business yet." But are you sure you want to go to the business course? I'm like, "Yes, I'm going for the business course." And I asked question like, "Why we don't have ladies in there?" And when I was talking with some ladies, they're like, they want to go and have a degree, work in an office, get some salary, and that's it. So almost all of them are like, I don't know, but if I got a wonderful job, I think I will be successful. But the problem is I can't call it success because it's normal. Everybody who has a degree could one of the day get a job and have some salary. And that's not really that. It's like you didn't use the potential in you. You can do more than that. And I was working in a business, not my own, but in a network marketing business, where 2 years after I found myself taking care of 400 official distributors in my own computer. And when the new distributor came to the office, they're like, we are looking for Amalkher. And that's me. Not you. I'm looking for Amalkher. Like, you're going to come back to me. And when they come back, they're like, are you sure you are the manager of, like, it's called Edmark International.
Okay.
Yeah. Are you sure you are the manager of Edmark International? I'm like, yeah, I am. It's not easy. But, it's just internet. That's the problem when in the country, people are not more involved in the new technology for information and communication. It seems really strange.
People didn't believe that you were the head because you were a woman, and they expected to see a man having all this responsibility. Is that right?
Yeah, even if it's not a man, they expect to see an older woman, not a child. I'm sorry, not like somebody like that. That's not you. I'm looking for somebody else. But the problem is the gender problem exists. That's the reality in Chad. That people don't believe in the potential of women. That's a real problem that we are fighting with the Women Internationally for Peace and Freedom. And because you can feel it everywhere. Because later on, in 2012, I have created my own building company that people are like, you are now crazy. Now you confirm that you're crazy. The problem is when I was looking for the license, like the registration of my company, all throughout the process, people are calling me from the beginning, in the middle, at the end, like, Amalkher, because some of them know me. Are you sure you're going to create a building company? I'm like, okay, yeah. Did you see Amalkher in the paper? Yes. So just keep moving it.
That's great.
So when I had the company out, the problem was the gender, and that's clear, because I targeted the government institutions. Because we have some maintenance problem. It's not a matter of just having a building, but you have to take care of the building to be a beautiful one. Because if you just build it and leave it, that's not good at all. So my company is focusing on building and the maintenance of these buildings. And when there is a contract going out in a newspaper, and then I went for the contract, most of the time, I'm out. And when I decided not to just to go for the competitions, but go by myself, presenting my company to the people and leaving them the overview of the company in case they can maybe call me for anything that they want. But the problem is they don't believe that you can do that. Yeah. I can't give you my building's contract because I don't think you can do it the right way, or I don't think you can build it the way I really want it. So it's like they don't believe in it really, and it's very hard.
Have you been able to overcome that with the business? Is the business successful?
Yeah, I can say it's successful today because I've changed my strategy because, going to the people that don't believe on the work that you will do is not a solution. I can maybe come back later by proving them the contrary or the opposite. But now I am targeting like the international NGOs, the people coming from outside that believe that the work that a woman can do is the same that the work that a man can do, right?
It's often better. So
I'm targeting these people like the embassies and the NGOs and United Nations organizations. I had some small contracts for the beginning. And I think that's the success because if you already start having some contracts and doing a wonderful work, they will just notice the work that you're doing. And they will just come back to you by asking your service because the service is perfect. Yeah.
So it's probably about then that how did you first hear about the Mandela Washington Fellowship? Was it on the internet? Did friends tell you about it? When did you first hear about it for the first time?
The first time I heard about it is because I am in the newsletter of something called Opportunity Desk.
Okay.
That every time they give the available opportunities that they are. And I came to the one Mandela Washington, and when I went through it, I found out that it's a very interesting program.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't hesitate a minute. I directly applied for it. And it was a surprise because they select people from 25 to 35.
That's correct.
But at that time, I was 24. And they said they will consider like some successful people under 25.
Mm-hmm.
But I applied, but when the result came, I was like, that's wonderful. And I didn't expect to have such a good experience here.
Well, tell me about that. So you applied, you did your interview, you got selected.
Yeah.
Obviously, you must have been very excited about that.
Yeah.
You took your first trip to the United States, and I think you went to New Orleans, right? You were in Tulane University to attend the 6-week class. What were your first impressions when you arrived in the United States?
Yeah. I've been in the United States before, like 2 times, but this time was different. Because I've been there for like vacancies and something else, a conference of 1 week.
For a vacation
But this time is a long time and it was different. When I came here, I've been in New Orleans, that I can call a unique city because of the diversity, and people are very friendly in there. And I also want to point out the fact that we came here on the Ramadan time.
Right.
But it is so strange. We didn't feel anything bad. Like everybody is taking care of us. You are fasting? Okay, we can keep some food for you. People are so good. Like it was like every time I came back home, I'm like, these people are really wonderful people, because they don't really care about any differences. They are all the same, and if you have something, they're ready to take care of you. Mm-hmm. And the program was also wonderful because we had different experience. We went out for like some institution to see how they work, and we had some cultural night and all that thing. And I think in New Orleans, we experienced many things like food, different cultures. New Orleans is like a city that's always welcoming.
So you're there, you're in Tulane, and there's 24 other fellows, right, from across the continent. What was that experience like, meeting Africans from across the continent and spending so much time with them? Were you surprised by how much you had in common, or were you surprised by how different you felt, or what was your experience there?
It was I can call it again a unique experience, because when we are in a team, we sometimes have to forget about our differences and come together for one goal. You know, some of the Americans are calling Africa a country. Mm-hmm. I wish it is a country, because, you know, sometimes you have to feel unique, you have to feel like the same people from the same place and addressing same problems. And that's what I felt when I was in the team, because every evening we are sitting together on talking serious problems. Because most of the time, you know, we have groups, and when they have free time, it's just to dance or having good time. But we are like, no, we are not doing it every day. Some of the day we have to sit and talk about our different problems all over our countries and see what you can propose for me, what I can propose for you. And it was very constructive. We keep doing it because we have created a WhatsApp group of the 25 people that went to Tulane last year.
So you remain in touch with them?
Yeah, we remain in touch. We remain talking about serious problem about our work, that what we do in our country, and giving contributions, ideas.
Were there any fellows in particular you became very close friends with, or that you learned a lot about their country?
Yeah, of course. And that's natural, because when you are in a group, you will become close to some people, not to everyone. Of course, I had a close friend from Kenya, and that talked much to me, because I've never been in Kenya. Mm-hmm. And today I know a lot about Kenya thanks to him. And he was also asking about Chad. So it's like we are sharing different experiences.
Right.
And at the end of the day, you've never been in Chad, but you know a lot of about Chad, because there's somebody telling you the reality, somebody who is within the problems, within the everyday aspect of Chad, telling you the reality of the country. So it was wonderful experience.
Yeah.
It was.
Would you recommend it to other Chadians that they apply for the fellowship? Do you recommend it on a regular basis now when you're back?
Yeah. When I went back, the YALI Learns courses that we have, I've been using them throughout the year. Like every time we are calling young people to come to the YALI Learn, and that's the opportunity to talk to them about the YALI itself, because most of them have heard about it. And, when you say it's English, most of them are going back, because we have wonderful guys, we have wonderful young people doing magic things in the country. Mm-hmm. But the only one problem they have is the fellowship. It's all in English.
Right.
Like even the interview and the embassies are in English. So that's the only one problem we have. But myself, I'm recommending this program to every young person in the country. And as a matter of fact, we had this biggest meeting that I was talking about earlier. And I didn't forget to remind them about YALI, because there's nothing to do with YALI, right? But I reminded of them because I'm like, oh, this is the chance. I'm not going to be able to bring all of them again. So let's talk about YALI and tell them that it's going to be in November, something like that, and let them apply more and more. And the result is, the first year we had 3 Chadians coming here in 2014. We had 4 in 2015. Now we have 10.
Wow,
and
that's
we
great.
we can say it's because they became 1,000. But I don't think so. I think the reason is we mobilized a lot of young people to apply for it.
Well, that's a terrific story. And let me say also, at the end of the 6 weeks, first you go through the 6 weeks of training. You have these terrific opportunities to meet people from across Africa, obviously people across New Orleans. There's this academic training, but then you get the chance to come to Washington and attend the summit. What was the highlight of the summit for you?
The summit was magic, first of all, because it's not only 25 of us, it's 500. And you see a young person every time going this way or the other, and from the same group. And what is fantastic is you can't imagine the potential of every one of the fellows, because I can think it's explosive potential that all of us have. And I believe that every young person has potential, but the problem is, the reason why we have many problems all across the globe is because some of them don't know how to use it positively, then they go for the negative way. And that's why we have a lot of problems today. So we can maybe help them go the positive way, like by doing something like this program. I think this program is phenomenal. So in the summit, beside meeting all of them and having the name and faces book, that is like a treasure. We had also the opportunity to meet the President of the United States in person.
What was that like?
Yeah, it was really fantastic. Like I can say, because I've never met my own president. I didn't expect to meet him, right? But through this program, I had the chance to meet him, and most importantly, the message that he has to the African youth.
What is that message?
That's the most important part. And we were talking about, like, the president was telling us about the good governance. To build a society, we have some secrets. And the secrets are, you have to start from the basic. You can't just leave a child having a whatever education, and then you come after he's 18 years old and it's like, why did you do that? Don't do it this way. No, he's not going to hear you, right? Because you didn't take care of him since his childhood. So if we want to address and bring solution to our problems, we have to go to the basic level of education, of health, because it's a matter of awareness. It's not like every problem should be addressed only by money, but we can address the biggest problem in the world just because we know how to address them by awareness, telling people the right way, bringing them from this bad path to another good one. So I think his message about the good governance, the human rights, because that's the main problem we have there, the corruption.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you can talk about corruption in public, in chat, because it's normal. If you want to address all that, it's through all of us here today, like the fellows and going back to the children going to school now. We have to help them sense that level.
Right.
So when they grow up, they will grow up with a different point of view. They will grow up with a different picture of what they want to do. And the things will change automatically. We don't have to be behind. Everything will change by itself. So I think that's the message that I got from him, and I will try my best to make it work in my community.
Yeah, I mean, what really comes through to me listening to you speak is that all your life people were telling you things that you can't do, and you insisted on doing them anyway, and you made it work. I mean, you've been a tremendous change maker, even before you ever came on the fellowship, and I congratulate you for that.
Thank you.
But going back to Chad, after this tremendous experience in the United States, where you got to, did the academic training, got to go to the summit, meet people from all over Africa, meet President Obama, you go back to Chad, did that take it to the next level for you? Did you feel even more empowered?
Yes, very, very empowered. And very empowered because someone has seen what I've been doing, something like that, and he's encouraging me to do even more.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a matter of what I'm doing, like I am every day, but it's a matter of the impact that what you're doing is making in your community and in the people living in it. That's why I am reminding young people every time that if you have an NGO, if you have an association of young people, of women, don't always wait for projects to be funded or waiting for money to start doing things. Because you are everything. You are everything. Mm-hmm. You can do many things without money. You can start making difference and letting people notice the difference that you're doing without $1. So that's the secret that many people don't know, because we have many associations in Chad, and because of the program, as you were saying, when I went back, I was trying to bring feedbacks from many of the association of young people and women about a problem, like why you're not going through, what is happening, like why you're not developing yourself or developing the NGO. And this answer that I'm having from them is the same, like, we have this project and it didn't get funded, and I have also this project and that project and no money.
Mm-hmm.
So we decided, because we have created another organization called Collectif des Associations pour la Citoyenneté et la Sauvegarde des Acquis Démocratiques.
For citizenship and the safeguarding of democracy.
Democratic achievements, something like that. Through this organization, we are organizing special training to the NGOs and association leaders to let them know how they can get started even with zero and making impacts. Like you don't have to underestimate your impact, like the smallest impact you can do. So we are training them like association management, how to work without anything, like, because there are some of the things that you can do, like the training that we are doing. We didn't get any money, but the training is the key of everything.
That's great.
Even in your own organization, you can start doing training to people, and you are helping. That's the action that we are looking for.
Mm-hmm.
And today, just like we are, the office, mine, is so crowded because every day we have many people inside. Like, can you tell me how to do this, how to do that? But the staff, we have a lot of people working with us. So we are playing the role of like counsels or like people giving advices. Finally, we found ourselves doing that. But that's not the first goal of our own organization. So the goal is moving from here to that because people are asking for our help.
I mean, you're shining a light, and I think people are coming towards it because you're such a tremendous example. It strikes me you've accomplished more in your life than many people do over their whole life, and yet you're, if I can say it, you're still young. Where do you see yourself in 20 or 25 years more? What would you like to achieve ultimately? And I mean both for yourself but also for Chad.
I believe if you need to make a bigger change, you have to be able to affect the biggest part of the country and of the population. So where I see myself in, as you said, it's a long time, right? 20 years, 25?
It goes like that, believe me.
It goes like that. Because, I can also think about being the first president of Chad, a lady, a woman. Because for me, it's not a surprise. It's not something impossible. It's possible for everyone to think that way. But the reason behind that could be different. You could think about that for you to have the biggest power to affect positively, and so things will grow quickly in your country. We need true people doing true things and right things, fair things for the whole planet.
And I think the lesson of your life, too, is that you can't let people tell you, no, it's too hard, it can't be done, because you've accomplished so many things.
I hope so.
Yeah. We're going to probably close, but I do want to give you a chance if there's any other message you want to deliver. This has been a fascinating conversation, and I always feel so much better about the future of Africa when I talk to its young people, and I particularly feel that after this conversation. But what else would you like to tell the folks who are listening to us now?
What I want to tell the folks who are listening to us is to think about only one community, only one people all over the world. We can also think about particularly the continent of Africa, and talking about this special program of YALI. Let's think of being only one family, same people with same problem, and addressing all this problem together. Let's come together to address this same problem, and let's stop putting barriers between all of us. And that's why working on the RAP, the Regional Advisory Board, I'm also every day reminding people of the RAP is divided into three regions.
Just for our listeners, the regional advisory boards are YALI fellows from around West Africa, in your case,
yes,
who were elected by the other fellows, and there's 10 of you, yes, and you work together in organizing YALI activities regionally.
Yeah, that's it. So it doesn't mean that the YALI group is divided. Let's think like it's only one Africa. That's the message that I want to give to people.
Great. Djibrine, I mean, this has been such a fascinating conversation. I know there's a lot of people out there who will want to reach out and have a conversation with you on social media or however. What's the best way that they can reach out and talk to you?
The best way they can reach me is through Facebook with my name, Amalkher Djibrine Souleymane, and also through Skype with Amalkher88.
Great. Thank you. Thanks so much for listening, and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of our fascinating interviews with other young African leaders from across the continent. Join the YALI network at yali.state.gov and be part of something bigger. Our theme music is Go Happen by Grace Jerry and produced by the Presidential Precinct. The YALI Voices Podcast is brought to you by the United States Department of State and is part of the Young African Leaders Initiative funded by the U.S. government. Thanks, everyone.